I remember seeing rainbows, and my mother in her Sunday school teaching voice saying, "Rainbows are a present from God, a promise after the great flood that it would never happen again." And I saw beauty in the covenant of a God that would give everything a second chance. And growth spurts came with different types of lessons. Me, the pastor's son, had to get other teachings like real men never put their hands on a woman. And this was around the time my father became an imaginary thing. He would drown our home in clenched fist baptisms. My ignorance questioned why my mother stayed. My curiosity questioned how a preacher could lay hands but there be no healing. I promised myself I would never become my abusive father, but I only learned to never hit a woman. I never learned what to do when you're being hit. I was so afraid of becoming my father, I didn't realize I could become my mother. But I was taught real men can't be abused. Real men take pain, don't show emotion, be stale-faced, rough exterior. Even if everything inside of you is crumbling, I had to be the type of man that gets respect for not hitting back or learning how to run away and leave. I used to think rainbows were so beautiful until I learned what it meant to be the earth to an abuser's flood and only exist in the memory of the rainfall, to represent a past you did not choose to inherit. My parents laid down the path of broken homes and my feet followed off instinct. The mother of my child treated me like a mistake that she had to drown into correction. And I don't know how many times I heard it would never happen again, but it always did. July 31st, that's the day my son took his first steps. And she must have felt invincible that day. Decided she could take the abuse outside the home. But she knew as long as she could call the police before I did, she could still look like the victim. Tell them I was trying to kidnap my own son, even though we were the ones hostage to an abusive relationship. July 31st, that's the day I went to jail for domestic violence. The type of joke Job and God would laugh at. They painted me in the image of my father, and it looked just like her. But I guess that's me just being a black man again, going to jail for something I didn't do. And still, I stayed for my son, just like my mother stayed for us children, because she always threatened to take my son away from me, so I felt like I didn't have any choice but to crawl back into her arms. She told me, if I don't love her, then I don't love my son. But then I realized I was raising my own son in the same type of home I was trying to escape from. Somewhere I found the strength to leave. She turned the threat into reality. Today marks another record for the longest it's been since I've seen my son, but I'm not gonna let any custody law keep us separated forever. It's the promise I give to myself, the rainbow my son gets to have without knowing the flood that preceded it, so that we can be a promise in the sky together.